Joining me now is former UFC bantamweight contender and current BKFC fighter, Jimmie Rivera. Jimmie, man, how's it going? You got your debut coming up here soon. Feeling pretty comfortable on the BKFC roster?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm just excited to get back and competing. It's been a little while. A couple fights fell through, so it's finally good just to be able to have a date and an opponent and get in there and fight.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I think, we kind of heard some rumblings that you and BKFC might be a thing. I think Malky had mentioned in an interview, and it wasn't totally official. Then it gets official. Can you just bring me through, for fans maybe that saw you fight in the UFC, and now all of a sudden here you are on BKFC's roster? What happened over the last few months? Was it just kind of a free agency period? Was it just testing the waters? What was going on in Jimmie Rivera's life?
It was definitely a free agency period. We were one of the days we're looking at PFL, possibly. They were looking at maybe doing a 35. So if they did a Grand Prix 35, I was looking to maybe entertain that. But kind of fast forward to this year, February was supposed to fight in Triad, and the whole event got canceled. And then May, I was supposed to fight Dat in bare-knuckle, and then he got hurt. So now finally I have Howard Davis to fight June 24th in Miami, Florida.
Yeah, it should be good, man. I'm excited to see you fight without those gloves on, and we'll get to all that in a second. But the decision to choose bare-knuckle fighting, was this one of those things where you kind of went into free agency and you and the UFC kind of mutually split? Was there any thoughts about going back? Was there can you bring me through your thought process of what landed you on this decision?
The biggest thing is that you're a free agent. So being a free agent, you want to test the waters, like you were saying before, see what other people have to offer. I've been in the UFC for probably 6 or 7 years, fought really high profile guys, had some really exciting fights. So when we came to bare knuckle, it was just simple. It was that the purse was really good on top of the contract where, I could fight with them. I could also still do MMA. So I haven't shut the door on MMA. I've just kind of pushed it aside to do the bare knuckle boxer right now. Even when I was going to do Triad combat, same thing, going in there, do the boxing. And then we always knew after the Triad, we were going to go to bare knuckle. That was always the plan. I believe Malky explained that to Dave, and been working with Dave. It's been going great. He's a real cool guy. The organization, the guys are cool, and it's going.
Is it nerve-wracking at all to kind of venture outside your comfort zone a little bit? Obviously, this is a kind of I don't want to say a newer sport because they were doing it in they've done this since the start of time. People have fought without gloves on, right? But in terms of you, this is the first time you've done something bare knuckle wise, right?
Yeah, it's just something different. The sport itself, I don't think it's just people are bare knuckle boxing. They worry about it. I'm like, I've been in fights and I've been kicked in the face in fights, so that sucks a lot more than getting punched in the face. But I think one of the biggest things you see is that a lot of fights get stopped because the cuts are that bad. Because you have a bare fist and it's just really easy to get cut and opened up. A lot easier than it is with a glove on.
Yeah, is that really, you think, the main difference, or is there anything I know sometimes they start you guys closer and stuff, right?
That's the main difference besides getting cut easily. The other thing is fucking up your hand. It's easy, especially with no cushion. Throw a wrong shot, hit the top of the head. That sucks. That's probably my main concern. Is not even getting hit. My main concern is throwing a punch and missing and breaking my hand.
Yeah, that's what they say, right? Isn't it? The gloves are built to protect the hand, not the head, or whatever, something like that.
That's literally it. Even when people wear headgears, oh, you wear a headgear, you'll be safe from CTE. I'm like, no, the headgear is for you not to get cut.
Yeah.
Or you get hit in the head, you're still going to get CTE. So I'm like, that's complete myth. I'm like, it's the other way around. You just wear the headgear so you don't get cut.
Yeah. And do you feel obviously bare knuckle is, it's boxing, it's striking. Was that kind of playing up to your favorite part of MMA as well? Have you always enjoyed kind of the stand and bang element of a fight?
Yeah, I do. I love when someone stays in the pocket. A lot of people were wondering, how's the fight going to be? I'm like, with Howard Davis. Howard Davis is a tough opponent, so it's going to be one of those fights. Every fight depends on how your opponent fights. If they stay in the pocket, it's always going to be exciting. If they play the outside or run, then it's going to be a boring fight. I'm a big fan of staying in the pocket, but I can't control what the other person does. If he, stays out and runs away, I can't just run and chase him. That gives him a free pass to take advantage of that and me run into something. So, if people stay in the pocket, it's an exciting fight. If they run, then it's more going to be a technical fight and figure out how to catch him and corner him.
Yeah, and talk to me about this matchup with Howard Davis. Have you gone back, watched some tape on him, and kind of what are you expecting out of this one?
Yeah, I have. He's the number one ranked guy at 45. He's a tough opponent. He's got a good reach. He's a lot taller than me, and I think it's going to be a great fight. And again, I don't know what Howard's going to show up, what his game plan is going to be, but it's definitely one of those fights where this could be the title fight at 145 instead of a number one contender fight. This definitely could be the 45 title, but I don't jump the line. You got to win a little bit before you get a title shot. I get that, so I understand, but definitely gonna be a tough fight. Good, really tough opponent. So I'm looking forward to it. I just hope we get in there and we stand and bang. But again, I can't control what he's gonna do.
Yeah, no doubt. And obviously BKFC is expanding their roster, and you just mentioned it there. This is a number one contender fight. Is that been declared by the promotion? Like, is the winner of this definitely?
Yeah. That's
so
been declared. So it's me, and then there's another fight coming up in July. The two winners will fight for the belt.
Gotcha. So that must be exciting to know that you're not gonna have to sit around and kind of slowly climb your way up the ranks. Like coming in with your recognition and stuff. Like, you're right there.
Yeah, I mean, with the UFC, it was tough because I was like 5-0. I'm like, how many more do I have to win to get a fight? It gets really discouraged, and that was one of the greatest things with working with bare-knuckle, working with Dave Feldman, was that, like, all right, this is the game plan. This is what we want from you. So game plan, obviously, if I win, I get a title shot. If something else happens along, then I have to figure it out. But that's the game plan. So it's nice to go into an organization and have a game plan and not have to like fight 10, 15 times to just get a title shot. That's a tough thing. There's obviously they're building the roster bare knuckle. It's not as big as UFC, but one day I think it will be. With the UFC, it's a lot bigger. So obviously there's got to be a lot more fights. But I feel like when you get in that top, 10, top 5, especially top 5, I mean, how much more do you need to do to get a shot,
Yeah, no doubt. And obviously the round structure is a little bit different here as well. For a fighter like you who's used to the 3 5-minute rounds or the 5 5-minute rounds, how does this affect your game plan, your preparation? Is there anything that you do differently, or is it just once you get in there, is it just kind of the same thing? It's not something you think about very much.
No, it's the same preparation. The only difference is, instead of, doing sprints for 5 minutes, now I'm doing sprints for 2 minutes with a little break. It changed up a little bit of the preparation of time because you want to kind of mimic what you're going to do in a fight. It kind of brings me back to my amateur days. 2-minute rounds were what you did as an amateur, and then in MMA, because amateur MMA got big when I started fighting. It was just 3-minute rounds. So it's kind of cool in a way to have those 2-minute rounds. But the other things, you got to have high intensity. Like, go out there, you got to win that round. You only have 2 minutes to win the round. It's not like a 5-minute fight, 5-minute round where you lose the first 3 minutes of it, but you can come back and win it. I've been in fights with Peter Yan where I won the first 4.5 minutes, but then he hit me with a nice shot with a flash knockdown. Now, he stole a round in 10 seconds after I beat him for 4.5 minutes. So it's a huge thing again, but anything can happen in 2 minutes, but it's definitely a lot faster pace.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how you do in this sport, man. I guess again, you haven't even had your first bare knuckle fight, but is your plan, like, when you think about your career, is it I'm definitely going to go back to MMA at some point? Is it I'm going to see how I do here? Like, if I go on and be champ, like, this will be my home for the rest of the time, or do you plan on having more MMA bouts?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely plan on having more MMA. That's the one of the reasons I signed bare knuckle, the flexibility with fighting, and I think I didn't close the door on MMA. I didn't retire and decide to come back and do just one bare knuckle fight. I didn't, some guys, were not doing so well at the end of the UFC, and they ended up, getting a couple knocked out a couple times, and they're like, all right, yeah, I'm done. I need to retire. I'm like, I left with a close fight with Pedro Munoz, who's in the top 10. I had close fights with all the guys like Sterling and Jan, who are champs. I mean, I don't feel out of my prime at all. So I think this is just a new promotion for me, new aspect. I love boxing, always did. Love working in boxing gyms and working out with the boxers stuff and preparing for fights. So it's just kind of cool that I get to show off my boxing and get to go in there.
Well, cool, man. Well, I appreciate your time today. I look forward to the big debut, and best of luck.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.